Welcome to the Liverpool FC Journal. I'm W. James. This is your Liverpool news update, guys. We've got some latest news on Ibou Konate and the current contract situation with the French international that comes from very reliable transfer source Nicolo Schiara, the Italian sports journalist, a guy who I think is probably that one or two below Mr. Fabrizio Romano in terms of bringing you updates and things like that. Now, it was reported earlier today that Liverpool had tabled what was described as their final contract offer to Ibou Konate. A kind of take it or leave it moment, really, I suppose. This is your contract offer. This is the last offer you're going to get. Take it or leave it. Hopefully, if Ibou Konate decides to leave that contract and not sign that new deal with Liverpool, if that is the case, then, I think Liverpool need to start playing hardball with the player. Seriously, they need to say, right, well, okay, we're going to sell you in January. If you don't move, then you're on the bench for the rest of the season. You can ride the bench and then you can see whether you can still make the French World Cup squad if you're sat with getting splinters in your arse. I think for too long now, as a club, we have been far too soft with these players. You just go back to Trent from last year. And this whole Konate situation is becoming very much like Trent Alexander-Arnold 2.0. I mean, contrast that with the attitude of Andy Robertson, also entering the last year of his contract, where he openly discussed the fact that he wants to stay. However, if this is his last year, he'll be happy to move on if that's what the club want. A very open and honest dialogue from the Scotsman, as opposed to the absolute radio silence from the French international, who was, if he was playing outstandingly well this season, you could kind of, cut him a bit of slack, but I think it's fair to say Ibou Konate has been one of the worst players in the squad this season. Some of his performances have been utterly unacceptable. He has just looked like he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a toss. He doesn't want to be out there. He's marking time. His head's not there. He honestly just is not fit to wear the shirt at times and is a disgrace to the club at times. So he needs to be sorted out pretty much. Now, this is what Nicolo Schiara has reported in the last few minutes. This is what has come out. Nicolo Schiara says Ibou Konate is getting closer to leave Liverpool as a free agent at the end of the season. So what Schiara is hearing is that Konate is intending to depart the club on a free transfer at the end of this current season. I don't think this is going to come as a major surprise to a lot of Liverpool fans. I think if you spoke to a lot of Liverpool fans and asked for their honest opinion on the whole Konate situation, I think the vast majority of them would tell you that the likelihood is that he walks at the end of the season. That, I think, is what a lot of people are saying as regards this man. So, look, if he does walk at the end of the season, I think, I think the club carries some of the blame for not getting this sorted sooner. I genuinely believe that there should have been an ultimatum put to Konate that, basically in the summer you sign a new deal or you get sold. And I think the club have really missed a trick. I think the club do need to go on to play hardball with a lot of the players, going forward in terms of contract situations, in terms of, look, this is the situation 2 years out from the end of your deal. You either sign this new deal or you get sold. We can't afford to keep allowing players to walk for absolutely nothing at the end of their contracts. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's a situation that cannot be allowed to continue. Now, in terms of Ibou Konate, look, there are teams reportedly interested in the player, but again, it's all supposition and report. I mean, you've heard that PSG allegedly interested, Bayern Munich allegedly interested, Real Madrid allegedly interested, although Real are also interested in Dayot Upamecano, but have distanced themselves in the last 24 or 48 hours from Mark Gahey. Check out the video that came out this morning. I think the situation is obviously is kind of coming to a head, hopefully, and my hope realistically is that the Liverpool sit down and they say to Konate, this is the offer, you take it or you leave it. If you leave it and you don't sign it, then we're going to sell you in January. And if you don't go to the club that we sell you to in January, then you're getting sat on the bench. We're going to bring in a centre-back in January to replace you. You can sit on the bench and you can ride the bench, and then look, then let's see if you get into Didier Deschamps' World Cup squad. Let's see if you make the French World Cup squad. Liverpool do have a chip to play in this fight. People talk about the players having all the power, the fact that players can control the situation. Well, in this case, the club do have a chip to play. If they were to say to Konate, right, you're sat on the bench, you're not playing, if you're not going to go, then he is going to lose his French national team spot. The French national team is a very competitive team. There is a lot of players that could be picked for that team. The standard is absolutely sky high, and they're one of the favourites to win the World Cup in 2026. But, you know, Konate will not get in the squad if he is not playing first team football, and he's got to realise that. And I think the club now need to play that hardball situation with Ibrahima and say, this is the situation. There's the contract. Sign it. Don't sign it. Off you go. And I know we're not going to get a premium value for the player in January, but sell him. Do not allow him to do another Trent Alexander-Arnold. To me, it just would smack of massive, massive incompetence and bad business and bad management by the club if that is allowed to happen. And I think, you know, people say, well, you know, you can't afford to sell the centre-back. We haven't got enough. If we go and buy someone in January, and that I know is a big if, but tell me what about Ibou Konate's performances this season we are actually going to miss. He's been responsible for a number of goals. His performances are all over the place. His head's gone. He doesn't look a player this season. And look, and people can go back, oh, he was good last season. Yes, he was on the whole, but Konate has always been a player who is very hit and miss. You know, Jurgen dropped him for Joel Konsa. You know, he's a player who is either great or terrible. There is no in between with Ibou Konate. He's very much Mr. Inconsistent too. So I don't think personally getting rid of him would be a huge loss for the club if he was to be replaced by someone like a Schlotterbeck, like a Gueye, like a Upamecano, like a Bastoni, like a Koulirakis. Someone like that, I think, could come in and do a very good job replacing him. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. Please, obviously, if you've enjoyed the content, like, comment, share, and subscribe to help the channel to grow. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.